Okay, beautiful morning to you, our wonderful viewers and listeners. You are welcome to the Friday edition of our program, Newspaper Review at People's Parliament, reaching this morning on your mega frequency, One TV, Port Harcourt, One TV, Owerri. And also, you are reaching us this morning as well on your mega dial, 90.1 FM, One Radio, Port Harcourt, and One Radio, Uguta. So, on that, welcome to the review edition of our program, Newspaper Review and People's Parliament. I remain your host, Cephas Ibabuchi Ugochukwu. Now, every Friday, we usually go through our topics discussed within the course of the week in our Parliament. We take topics and try to reiterate on the points made for viewers out there who are not able to join us within the course of the week to be put abreast on what really transpired over the week in our Parliament. Now, on Monday, yes, we couldn't bring the Parliament due to some issues beyond our control. But then on Tuesday, and the topic reads that following the recent attacks and killings in Plateau State and the uprising of banditry in the country, the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, URIWA, has faulted President Muhammadu Buhari endorsing a peace treaty between alleged aggressors of Fulani stock and Christians of Plateau State, and asked the people of Plateau State to hold their governor, Simon Lalong, responsible for unprecedented insecurity in the state. And they further described appeasement of the mass killers for endless insecurity in the country. Yes, that was the president speaking to us over the week that there's going to be a peaceful coexistence between the Fulani, as we call them, the Fulani stock, and the Christians residing right there in Plateau State. But then that pact was actually, can I say, was kind of faulted by the Huriwa group, saying that this Fulani allowed to be living peacefully with the Plateau Christians is more reasons why we are having much more insecurity in the country. So we asked David Faithful that are looking at the high rate of insecurity in the country, especially the bandits and Fulani herdsmen attacks. What do you make of this call by Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari? And then moving on Wednesday, yes, President Muhammadu Buhari has said that the commissioning of the rice pyramids in Abuja was an indication that Nigeria is making steady and assured progress towards self-sufficiency in food. So Mr. President has told us that Nigeria is actually heading towards food sufficiency in the country following the unveiling of the rice pyramids there in Abuja on Monday. I could also recall that the president unveiled 13 rice pyramids or 9 million bags of rice at the event. And based on that, Mr. President is stating that Nigeria is actually heading towards food sufficiency in the country. And we are asking that looking at the high rate of poverty in the country and the level of shortfalls in food production in the country, would you agree with Mr. President that unveiling of the rice pyramids in Abuja, that the country is heading towards self-sufficiency in food production? And then finally, yesterday, Thursday, following the current amendment of the Electoral Act bill by the Nigerian Senate, the Senate on Wednesday included the consensus mode of primary in the Electoral Act amended bill as suggested by the President, Muhammadu Buhari, and the both chambers of the National Assembly, the Senate and the House of Representatives have, however, deleted compulsory direct primary from the bill. Yes, the Senate on Wednesday actually settled for inclusion of consensus mode of primary elections in the ongoing Electoral Act amended bill. And of course, we're told that, of course, we all know that that actually consensus mode of primary was a suggestion by Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari. So we ask that looking at the electoral system in the country and the quest to present credible and people's-oriented candidates in the forthcoming elections, what do you make of this? So do you really think that giving us a consensus candidate at primary elections by the political is the best credible and a program? So we'll start right away with the Punch newspaper that has so many punchy headlines as usual for us to savour with this morning. So let's begin the following headlines as we can find in today's Punch newspaper. You transformed Lagos, do the same for Nigeria. Niger governor tells Tinubu. Yes, that the controversial presidential candidate at the moment, Ahmed Tinubu. Many persons have been endorsing the man, and many others kicking against his presidential ambition. But then the governor of Niger State is telling him that you transform Lagos State, do the same for Nigeria. And I asked, do you really think that Tinubu can actually transform Nigeria? I have no answer to that, but your guess is as good as mine. Details of that to read up right there in the Punch newspaper. Still on Punch this morning, FG urges private sector to maximize AFCFTA. And this is a video in Punch newspaper that reads, innocent Beninese Tyler jailed after ENSA's protest, freed 14 months later. 12,000 Nigerians studying in Ukrainian universities to the envoy. INC Yoruba group seek to join CNG's suit on Biafra agitation. Details of that you can also find this morning in the Punch newspaper. Still on Punch this morning, 450 million naira fraud. Court refuses to stay proceedings in ex-minister Bulama orders trial. Beginning of the end of an 2023 presidential election is an interesting headline you can find right there in the Punch newspaper this morning. And still on Punch this morning, uncontrollable violence in Southeast. Yes, Southeast, and we're having a lot of series of violence in some parts of the southeastern part of the country. And this one is saying that it is uncontrollable. I don't really know what to think about that. Talking about the violence in southeastern part of the time, Southeast was rated as the most peaceful region in Nigeria. But today, it has been seen as a violence-prone region in the country. And the violence in the area have been termed uncontrollable. But details of that you can also find there in the Punch newspaper. Still on Punch this morning, Northeast APC legislators back Bello's presidential bid, hail Buhari. FG will ensure completion of Ebonyi Airport, according to the minister himself, Sirika. Akwa Ibom carpets communities, threatening investors. Scotland, Bua refineries, others. Port Harcourt refinery project 3.96 billion liters petrol annually. Aviation fuel, according to a report. Details of that you find right there in the Punch newspaper. Still on Punch this morning, over 500,000 benefited from FG Digital Skills Scheme. IMF set to launch $50 billion lifeline for Nigeria, others. FG signs rural areas power supply MOU with Bauchi, Sokoto. Nigerian Senate most expensive rubber stamp. In fact, when I saw this and this morning being treated by this Senate at the moment, we found that they are actually heading towards in favor of Mr. President, just as what we'll be discussing this morning, like we discussed yesterday as well, talking about the electoral bill amendment, where Mr. President barely suggested that the bill should contain a consensus mode of primary elections, and the Senate never hesitated in including that. And we are seeing the Senate, of course, they were actually accused at inception, they were actually rubber stamp in the hand of Mr. President, which the Senate President himself, Lawan, refuted. But from all indication, what we are seeing here today, as many callers said yesterday, they are not just people oriented, but they are presidents are most expensive rubber stamp. I don't know what you think about that, but details you find right there in the Punch newspaper. Okay, still on Punch this morning, policeman arrested for attacking Rivers lady with burning stove. Psychiatric profession was hit by brain drain, according to a Dawn. Ondo NSCDC to deploy female officers in schools. 2 killed, 5 injured as mast collapses in Benue. Ekiti community demands compensation for demolished houses, issues ultimatum. 129 terrorists killed, 64 arrested, 27 victims rescued in 2 weeks, according to the defense headquarters. Details of that you find right there in the Punch paper. Still on Punch. Adopted 5-year-old Kanu girl killed despite ransom payment. That is a very disheartening story right there. After the parents of the girl met up with the ransom payment, the adopter still went ahead to kill the little innocent girl. Of course, one can say that this is politically motivated, but I can't really tell. Like African China always say that, is it African China? Yes, that when thief comes to your house, never ask for money, never ask for property, but only ask for your life, then that thief is for different motion altogether. I think that is from San Sultan. But then, Idris Abdul Karim, thank you so very much. But then, when you adopt a little girl of 5 years old, demand ransom, and the parents also wanted to pay the ransom, and you went further to kill that child, then something is behind that altogether. But details of that satanic act, you can read up right there in the Punch newspaper. Because still on Punch this morning, fleeing Zamfara terrorists didn't relocate to Kwara, according to the police. Tinubu's native intelligence, simply put, I don't know what they mean by Tinubu's native intelligence. Maybe the intelligence of Tinubu, when we talk about native intelligence this time, may likely see him through to become the president of Nigeria come 2023. But let us keep our fingers crossed and see how events will unfold himself, begin with the primary elections, then to the general elections early next year. Mock exam condition for NECO WAEC registration in Kogi. Yes, serious condition there. We can see the conditions right there in the Punch newspaper this morning. Still on Punch. Give back to alma mater. Lagos Baptist alumni tell Nigerians. FG builds multi-purpose hall for adult literacy center. Reps order probe of contract bags, extortion by MDA officials. Nigerians want Jonathan to return, says ex-commissioner. Do you agree with him on that? That we really want Jonathan to return to the seat of power in the country, but then it is personal opinion. Agitations is seriously heating up. Southeast agitation for presidency, the West heating up for presidency, and the North are also not left out. But then Jonathan coming back, maybe that with those so many tensions in the country, I can't really tell. But details of that you also find there in the Punch newspaper this morning. Still on Punch, NEF Zulum advised Nigerians on 2023 presidency. Ogbe decries weak economy. And finally, from the Punch, as regards domestic headlines this morning, Electoral Act faces delay at National Assembly. Harmonization yet to start. You get full details of that right there in the Punch newspaper. As we now take you on foreign headlines, as you can find in the Punch this morning. Mexico records 33,308 murders in 2021. Baby, 3 others freeze to death near US-Canada border. And it's a breaking news emanating from the Punch newspapers this morning. 17 dead, 59 injured at explosion rocks Ghana town. Africa yet to overcome Omicron field 4th wave, says World Health Organization. Details of all of this you can find right there in the Punch newspaper as we take you on some sports headlines as you can find in the Punch this morning. We've intensified training on penalties, according to the head coach at the moment of Super Eagles, Austin Eguavoen. Yes, they've actually trained intensely on penalty shootouts. But then, did they believe that their next match will be ended on penalties? Only time will tell. Truss Ekong proving critics wrong in Cameroon. Eguavoen turned Eagles to one family, according to Alex Iwobi. Eagles draw Tunisia in round of 16, and I believe that's going to be a very tough cracker for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Remember, in the last outing, we were actually stopped from making to the finals by a North African country, Algeria. Now we are facing another tough cracker in the hands of them again, talking about Tunisia. But with the form of Super Eagles at the moment and a crop of players that is squad is actually parading, especially on the middle pack and the up front. Do you really think that Tunisia will really overpower the Super Eagles? For me, I don't see that happening at all, because we have the great dribbler, another JJ in person of Simon Moses. Of course, the left side will have the man Chukwueze, and of course, in the middle of the pack, the best midfield defender in Africa, Joyd Ndidi, is also there. So I believe Super Eagles can actually get us something good from the Tunisians, but then let us hope for the best in the hands of the Tunisians this time around. Otedola promises Eagles 102 million naira to win AFCON. Big money out there. Ligue 1 fixtures: Saint Etienne, Bordeaux, battle for survival, PSG versus Reims. EPL fixtures: matches to watch this weekend as Premier League top 4 race hots up. So get details of that right there in the Punch newspaper, especially those of us that play the confidential barometer. You can go there, make your predictions, and go to the whatever and see if some money will be smiling into your account